Hey YouTube, Lord Zath bringing you another replay. And in this replay, once again we have Lert, and he is in the Tier 7 battleship Nelson. And he's on the Operation Final Frontier, I believe it was called, something along those lines. The first operation to come out that's Tier 7. Which is very exciting, to be honest. I mean, the operations are okay at Tier 6, but I love my Tier 7 ships. And there are so many fun ones. So, I'm going to do my characteristic screenshot here. And let's talk about the Nelson. The Nelson has 3 guns, and they're all up front. Business, all up in the front. You'll notice that they only fire forward, so there are no rear-firing main guns. There are some secondary batteries, here and over here, that fire, I believe, AP? Can't remember off the top of my head. But they're pretty strong. And yeah, so this ship is a lot of fun. It's available as a free XP ship. I believe it's 350,000 free XP, and then you can unlock her through the tech tree. Lert's got repair flag, very useful on this ship. He's got the free XP 777% flag, the Commander XP flag. What is that one? I haven't seen that one. And oh no, that's the less flooding duration flag, which makes sense. We've got the Hydra flag for extra bonus to XP, Commander XP, and free XP. The Zulu for more credits, and the flag for reduced fire, reduced burning time. All of those are good flags. The only other flag to consider would be maybe the one that reduces the cooldown for your mounted consumables, of which you are running premium of both, which makes perfect sense. Now, battleships always spawn up here, and for this operation, you've got 3 different places that planes will spawn in a certain amount of time, and the game will let you know how much time there is. Once they spawn, they come straight to the airfield here. And you have to be careful because there are anti-air cruisers here that need to be killed before those planes spawn. If the planes spawn while the cruisers come in, they shoot down a lot of the planes, and obviously then that will really hurt the rest of the game. Now, most of your allies are down here when they start, and this is kind of a dangerous position. You see the Fiji and York now coming in. They killed one of the destroyers. The other one's probably in smoke or just running. But these guys are about to rush headlong into a bunch of enemy baddies. Lert has switched to HE. My guess is he was planning on shooting the destroyer, but then it disappeared. So we've got a New Mex, we've got a New York, and there's a Wyoming behind it. And then there's also a Pensacola. And then there's that Clemson in the middle. A lot of people forget about that Clemson. If you go charging headlong, kind of like this Gneisenau is doing, you very well could end up taking some torpedoes and dying. So it's definitely a bit of a scare. Or risky maneuver, I should say, doing that. So the guns being up in the front, they're 16-inch guns. They have great penetration. A lot of good stuff about them. Like I said, their only big drawback is their inability to fight from their air. See the Omaha and then the Cleveland now? That's what I mean by ships up there. You've got an Aoba that can come in and will probably die if nobody supports him. Anyway, the big thing, though, about the Nelson that's awesome is it's got that special 20-second cruiser heal that the British cruisers have. So this is what's called the super heal, I guess people call it. And it does a phenomenal job of basically, I like to call it the get a new ship button, because as soon as you do that, you'll see Lert's HP goes from like here almost to full. It's just crazy. Now, the nice thing about having turrets up in the front is that Lert can basically just kind of stay bow on, and he can switch to these targets very easily and switch back to these guys. So it's kind of nice that he's got that added flexibility. Now let's talk weaknesses. I mentioned that you're gonna see here you see him turning his turret. It's just so easy to do. We said that he can't fire from the rear, right? You can't fire targets at the rear. That's one weakness. The other weakness, and you see this in Little White Mouse's video of playing the Lion, she completely obliterates this poor Nelson because the Nelson's got a very exposed citadel right here. I mean, you can just wail on targets and just you can the poor Nelson just dies, right? I mean, there's just nothing to prevent it from taking like 30,000 damage. It's just obscene. So if you do have a Nelson, you have to protect that citadel at all costs. That's really important. Even though you got that super heal, you want to try not to have to repeat the to depend on it too much. Okay, so it looks like Lert is trying to get up there. I apologize, we don't see the timer for aircraft spawn. It doesn't matter. They should be coming in the next minute or so. But either way, we can see that Lert's moving up. And because those 4 turrets are all forward-facing, he doesn't really have to worry about maintaining, kind of a broadside-ish angle towards the target. He can just close almost dead onto it and get almost all of his turrets to bear. You can see right now he was being able to shoot with both his first and second turret. And now he's got the ability to shoot, and I do like how he's kind of watching the turrets. It's fun to watch, but it's always a good way to spot how they land and get an idea of what your gunnery is doing. The Atlanta obviously was maneuvering, right? So it makes it much more difficult to hit that target. Sure, but I think it's good to kind of be able to watch the shells as they go in. You want to make sure that they're landing where you think that they were going to land. And Lert is predicting that the Atlanta is going to continue his turn away. And so we notice how he aimed up. And look, the Atlanta did turn. And Dispersion said no. But you know what? He predicted the turn properly, which is the best you can hope for. Boy, if that Atlanta doesn't die soon, though, that's really going to hurt the team. Now, other things to know about this scenario, there's a Ranger down here, escorted by a Cleveland, Omaha, and 2 or 3 destroyers as well. So some people like to, I like to jump right down towards the Ranger and kind of YOLO rush it with my Scharnhorst organizer now. And if you've got a buddy to do that with you in another battleship, that alone can potentially turn the tide of battle, which is hilarious. So anyway, you see how quickly Lert is able to change direction. He's able to keep closing and shift to the other side, and there it goes. And I mean, talk about timing, right? There come the planes. Had that Atlanta survived, those torpedo bombers would have gotten wrecked. By the way, another flag to consider while we have some downtime, another flag to possibly consider would be like the speed flag, simply because on this mode with operations, the ability to go from place to place quickly, kind of important. And anyway, we'll get back into it now that there's targets that Lert's shooting at. So there's a Phoenix coming in there. There's going to be a bunch of cruisers that pop in. One thing that's nice about this mode is that most of the enemy ships that you encounter are the same tier, if not lower. And the vast majority are lower tier, like, come on, a tier 4 Phoenix. So, and what's nice about that is some of the ships that have that struggle to penetrate can definitely do so because, of course, weaker armor. So a great example, a great example of that could be like the Ashitaka, right? The Ashitaka's got a little bit less penetration power at tier 7 than, say, the Nagato has. But when you're playing against tier 4 ships, who cares about that decreased penetration? So, you know, it's kind of nice to play a few of the other ships that normally you wouldn't play. Scharnhorst, lower caliber main guns, don't care. Because again, better penetration against lower tiers. So, you know, it's fun taking some of those ships. They have a better reload, lower pen, and you can definitely pump out the DPM in this mode. Okay, so the planes have landed. The planes are now going to take off from the aerodrome. You can see them taking off over there. Actually, can we get over there? These are kind of cool because they're land-based bombers, and I really do appreciate the fact that Wargaming is putting them in. So we're gonna go away from Lert for a second and kind of get over here and kind of watch them take off. So basically now the thing that Lert has to do and his team is defend the aerodrome, and there's going to be some attacks coming in from here, maybe over here, and of course the Ranger. See what I mean? Look at that. Pretty sure those are G4M Bettys, which are awesome. Land-based bombers. And one thing that's cool about this is I feel like if Wargaming is putting up land-based bombers, is it possible that they're going to ever render in a you know, Mitchell? What is that, B-25, I want to say? B-24 is Liberator, 17 of course is a Flying Fortress, but if they put the Mitchell in and they put in the Hornet, I hope you can understand where I'm going with this. Anyway, back to Lert. If they put those in, guess what that means? We can have the Doolittle raid. I mean, how cool would that be, right? To be able to launch land-based bombers from your carrier. That would be kind of cool. Anyways, you see there's a target over the Phoenix. That's because on the left here it says you have to destroy 2 ships that are being attacked by the aerodrome squadron. So basically you're trying to help the aerodrome out. And Lert does just that. There's one. And then we're going to see another one spawn very soon. Now, I gotta hand it to Wargaming. This scenario is a lot of fun. There go your secondaries. Let's get some shots of the secondaries in action, because we know he's gonna kill this guy, right? Look at that. Isn't that cool? I just, yeah. I mean, awesome stuff. That's the cool thing too, man. You can go full secondary build, right? And take it into co-op and just gun down everything. Oh, it's so fun with Scharnhorst and Gneisenau. Who cares? It's just, yeah. Anyway, sorry. I got excited. And now this Cleveland is the target, so of course Lert is targeting the Cleveland. Nice 10k hit, 11k. And Cleveland, of course, can hold its own against anti-aircraft attacks. You see the Ranger, by the way, has used fighters over there. Ranger is AS loadout. Yes, that's right. The old AS loadout remains in this scenario. The Ranger, by the way, is also the Raptor, which you can... It's the current operation of the week, and it's you have to save it. So it's kind of interesting how they make it so that you save the Raptor for it to... you know, essentially get become an enemy. I just love that. I think that's cool. So now he's taken care of that. We can see that Lert is going to go and help his team with those destroyers, perhaps. Or maybe against the Phoenix. It looks like the Phoenix. You might be showing a little bit too much side to the Colorado, but you're probably thinking, it's a Colorado, whatever. Oh, you have HE loaded. Okay. So you were planning for quite some time to go after these destroyers. I'm curious to know why you're not looking to kill the Phoenix, since you're right next to him and he is broadsiding to you, but, you know, that's okay. One other note, for those of you guys who like to play carriers into co-op in scenarios, be very, very, very careful, because All of these ships are American ships, and I believe, it seems at least, like they're almost all anti-air build, including those destroyers. Those destroyers have defensive fire. And now we can see there's a Tier 8 Alabama that appears, and oops, that Colorado you ignored for so long has decided to come and say hello. So I think it's maybe it was the Alabama that shot you, based on the Colorado's turrets. And we might see the super heal coming into play soon. Another thing to note about this operation in particular, if you are using priority target to let you know when you are being targeted, see what I mean? Look at that, so easy to take this. New ship button applied. When you are playing as a with priority target, you won't be notified if a target is planning on shooting you. I don't know why that is. It's just, I think, a bug, but it hasn't been fixed. So you see how easily Lert just took that damage, right? You have to be very careful not to show too much of your broadside. Which means that at very close range, this ship, you want to brawl because the secondaries are so fun, but at the same time, this ship just kind of doesn't do well with that. Anyways, Pensacola. If you're a battleship and there's an aircraft carrier on your team, please help them out. Kill those Pensacola's and the Clevelands as quickly as possible. Anything that's got defensive fire, if they go, it's a big help. For those of you guys that are playing carrier, personally, from my experiences, I have found the Saipan seems to work decently well here. The Kaga is good if you can get around those anti-air cruisers and destroyers, because once they pop their defensive fire, it's really hard to for one, for your bombers to get in and do damage, and two, for you to get to not lose a lot. Nice Citadel. You were a little behind there. RNG kind of gave you a nice hit, though, with one of your shells on dispersion, so that was good. Now, Lert is getting danger close to this Mahan and Nicholas. And maybe too close. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, that thing I hate so much when I play battleships just happened. You leave your target almost dead. And the problem, of course, is now you've given him ample time to fire off them torpedoes. And there they are. And there's the Nicholas's torps. Oh, good dodge. Preemptive. Oh, time for that new ship. And the reason why he's not getting that much HP from his repairs is simply because he's taken so much Citadel damage and torpedo damage. But, oh, nice. That is painful hurt. Love it. 2 minutes left, so there's not much time remaining to get this to get this kill here. Next salvo ought to do it. So I hope this has kind of helped showcase some of the positives and definitely the negatives, of course, with the Nelson too. And it's a fun ship. It's definitely worth picking up. If anything, for the change in playstyle that having an all-forward turret gun layout affords you, it's definitely fun. And yeah, will those bombers get you? Yeah. Ooh. I think you'll be able to repair before you burn out. Let's find out, though. So like I was saying earlier, Kaga's a pretty decent choice if you're a good Kaga player. Definitely behind on that dispersion. The other thing would be Ranger. Actually, now would be fine because it's got that extra bomber squadron, and it's got the healthier bombers. Oh, you are not dead, sir. you're gonna heal back and laugh. Anyways, so that's good. The Hiryu actually, I don't know. Again, I've seen people with the Hiryu not do too well in this, mainly just because those bombers they die so quickly, and unlike the Kage, you don't have massive reserves. So there's that. Oh, torpedoes coming, but it doesn't matter because they are friendly, and friendly torps in operations do not do damage. If only they could repair damage, right? Anyway, Lert, I want to thank you for submitting this replay. It was a great opportunity to showcase the awesome scenario, and also the pros and cons of that ship. So if you're on the fence of that Nelson and you've got that free XP stored up, go ahead and use it, man. It's good stuff. Anyway, big thanks, and as always, continue to watch. This is number 50, a momentous video for me because 50. I mean, it's just hard to believe. I'm starting week 6 now, and we're at 50. So that's good stuff. Might have to start, giving away some things like that. So stay tuned. Take care, everyone.